Thank you, Rajul. It's a pleasure to be here. There's been a lot of research on the causes of famines, and over time, these causes have changed to some degree. And one of the main things that research has found out is that, at one point, famine was basically attributed to crop failure or droughts. Clearly, security is a big issue, especially in today's famines. But in the work on famines, it turned out that there were aspects of food availability, the amount of food that was in the economy, that was in the markets, but access and nutrition became a bigger and bigger emphasis over time. Some path-breaking ideas by, for example, Amartya Sen, looking at the Great Bengal Famine in the 40s and pointing out that people didn't have enough incomes or entitlements to access the food. It wasn't just a question of supply of food. There was a big aspect of household access to food. But here at IFPRI, a lot of work was done in the 1990s. Patrick Webb, Joachim von Braun, on Ethiopia and other countries. And Ethiopia had experienced a major famine in the mid-1980s. And that famine, as they looked into it, a big part of it was military conflict and the insecurity that was surrounded that. That chewed up government budgets and it prevented investments on the ground. There was also drought and crop failure, but there were also policy failures in the medium term, a lack of investment in agriculture, and market failures. During that famine, the government restricted movements of grain that could have flowed from western Ethiopia to eastern Ethiopia and supplied those areas. And these kind of factors are present today in the crises that we're going to discuss. But I'd like to emphasize too that a lot of progress has been made. In Bangladesh, there's been massive improvements in nutritional outcomes as well as in per capita availability of cereals. This has a lot to do with public investments in agriculture and good policies in terms of promoting markets, investing in roads, and in providing safety nets. A major investment in Bangladesh in various safety nets, including food for education and other kinds of programs that are well targeted. Similarly, Ethiopia has had a very good transition. Following that major famine in the mid-80s, Ethiopia, especially in recent years, has invested a lot in agriculture. It's invested in the rural roads, in telecommunications, and has established a productive safety net program to directly target households. And these households are picked at the village levels. So you have a well-targeted program that has been able to respond when there have been crop shortfalls. Nonetheless, even in Ethiopia, even though they've been able to deal very well with cereal production shortfalls, there's still a major issue in the eastern part of the country, roughly 10% of the rural population, where you have a lot of pastoralists. And for these people, drought means you can lose livestock. You not only lose income, you lose assets. And so there's a lot of work to be done in addressing the needs of these people today and also in terms of future research. So in summary, the research on famines has contributed to good policies and investments in Bangladesh and Ethiopia, and these have increased the food security there. And there's been a lot of progress. But as has been just said, without security, without an end to conflict, it's very hard to address food insecurity needs in these countries.
Well, thank you very much.